What would you do if the scars of your past refused to heal? Well, that's what Shoya faces in a silent voice. Brace yourselves, guys, because this isn't just another high school anime, it's a straight no-jokes punch to the heart. Buckle up. Shoya Ishida starts as your typical troublemaker, a restless kid, always looking for ways to stir things up. In elementary school, he finds the perfect target, Shoko Nishimiya, a kind-hearted girl who's deaf. And how does Shoya react to something that he doesn't understand? He bullies her. Relentlessly. It's the kind of torment that really made me cringe. I mean, ripping out her hearing aids, mocking her in front of the class, Shoko just trying to fit in is devastated. But the real kicker? Shoya's classmates just watch until things spiral out of control. Fast forward a few years and Shoya's in high school. A very different person now, but not in a good way. He's isolated and haunted by his past. The once popular kid is now the outcast, and deep down, he thinks he deserves it. The guilt of what he did to Shoko has eaten him alive, and he's ready to give up. But something, or maybe someone, holds him back. Before moving on, Shoya decides he has to make things right, but as you'd guess, it's not that simple. So, he finds Shoko, the girl he tormented, and attempts to apologize. It's as awkward and painful as you'd expect. I mean, how do you even apologize for something like that? Hey, remember how I was a total jerk and ruined your childhood? Sorry about that. But Shoya tries, and Shoko, she's kind. I mean, maybe a little too kind, and she forgives him, or at least she tries. But is forgiveness ever really that easy? Shoko, though mostly quiet throughout the story, shines in her own right. Despite everything she endures, criticism, pity, and being ignored, she continues to see the good in people. She's resilient in ways many of us can't even imagine. But here's the twist. Beneath her strength, she carries her own heavy burden. Shoko blames herself for the pain around her, convinced that if she weren't deaf, everyone's lives would have been easier. And if that doesn't tug at your heartstrings, my gosh, nothing will. Shoya and Shoko's relationship is far from straightforward. He's trying to make amends, and she's trying to forgive him, but it's a chaotic mess. Every interaction is loaded with years of unresolved pain, regret, and longing for something better. And let's face it, Shoya isn't exactly a master of reconciliation. He stumbles through apologies, often leaving behind an awkward silence, the kind that screams, "I don't know how to fix this!" But it's not just about these two. The story introduces a cast of characters that complicate things further. Take Yuzuru, for example, Shoko's fiercely protective younger sister. She doesn't trust Shoya, and who can blame her? She's seen the damage he's caused, yet she knows her sister needs the space to make her own choices, even if it means letting Shoya back into her life. Then there's Tomohiro, Shoya's new friend, who injects some comic relief into the drama. Tomohiro is the guy who tries to lighten up the mood, no matter how bleak things seem. While his antics might seem a little out of place, Shoya needs someone like him, a reminder that life isn't always so heavy. Tomohiro's loyalty provides a refreshing contrast to Shoya's long-standing loneliness. The tension builds as Shoya tries to reintegrate himself into Shoko's life, battling his own self-hatred and the lingering judgment of his peers. Remember those classmates who stood by as Shoko was bullied? They have their own baggage, but no one likes to admit they were wrong. Facing that truth is harder than it seems, and it's where the real drama kicks in. One of the film's most gut-wrenching moments comes when Shoya's guilt hits its peak. He's carried this weight for so long, and there's a scene where everything unravels. Without giving too much away, it involves a near-death experience and a lot of emotional release. It was raw, intense, and it's the moment you realize just how deeply this story has gripped you. But here's the thing. A silent voice doesn't wrap everything up neatly. Shoya's redemption part isn't about discovering some huge all-encompassing forgiveness that will suddenly solve everything. It's disorganized, difficult, and continuing. By the end of the film, he and Shoko have begun to restore their relationship, but they both realize it's gonna be a long road ahead. And, that's the beauty of it. It's authentic, because in life, forgiveness doesn't happen all at once. It's a process that requires patience, effort, and a great deal of understanding. Trust me. Let's also discuss why this film is genuinely worth your time, even if it'll completely destroy you. First, character development. Shoya Ishida, our resident ex-certified jerk, has one of the most interesting character arcs in anime. This guy starts out as a total trash bag, total, continuously abusing Shoko Nishimiya, until you actually loathe him. Tossing your hearing aids away? That's pretty extreme brutality. But here's the thing, by the time we meet him in high school, you're cheering for him. Yeah, the same person that abused a deaf girl. How? Because A Silent Voice is about more than simply the redemption arc. It's about actual growth. Shoya isn't only sorry because he was caught or his life went apart. He's really sorry. Bumbling through his efforts to make things right, he's attempting to mend something that appears unfixable. It's achingly human to watch him try to actually figure out how to improve himself. How about Shoko? You don't even want to get me started on Shoko. This is more than just Shoya's redemption story. Shoko is a fully developed character with her own set of challenges. She's not a story device designed to help Shoya repent himself. No, she's struggling with some serious issues herself. Self-esteem issues, trauma, and the consistent weight of feeling like a burden to others around her. It's like seeing two broken people try to put themselves back together using the incorrect instructions. This thing is heartbreaking, yet in the most lovely way. Let us now pause to savor the visuals and sound. If you're gonna engage in emotional warfare, it's gotta at least look decent, right? Kyoto Animation went all out here. Every frame is a work of art. Seriously, have a look. You could pause the film at any point and have a desktop wallpaper ready to go. The attention to detail in the animation is incredible, and the way they employ sound, or the absence thereof, is nothing short of brilliant. It's subtle, but it reflects Shoko's interaction with the environment in a way that gets you right in the gut. And then there's the music. Oh my goodness, the song, It's the kind of soundtrack that sneaks up on you, making you reconsider your life choices when you're just trying to watch anime. I dare you to get through this thing without feeling something. What truly sets A Silent Voice apart are its themes, though. Yes, the story deals with bullying, but that's just one layer. At its core, it's a powerful exploration of guilt, the struggle for forgiveness, even when you feel unworthy, and the burden of redemption. It tackles mental health in a raw, authentic way, steering clear of superficial platitudes like, just smile more. Instead, it dives into the heart of the matter, addressing difficult topics like suicidal thoughts, anxiety, and the deep isolation many people face. It doesn't shy away from demonstrating how these things actually influence both the person being bullied and the bully. Shoya's guilt eats him alive. He's made a mistake, and he's painfully aware of it. We watch as he battles to deal with the emotional devastation he's caused, not only for Shoko, but also for himself. This film accomplishes something significant. It demonstrates that both the bullied and the bully are impacted, and that both bear scars long after the actual events have occurred. And while we're on the subject of reality, how about the relationships? There's gonna be no fairy tale romances here. Shoya and Shoko are not gonna reach a mushy, "I'm sorry, let's be best friends forever" agreement. Their connection is awkward, difficult, and at times, almost unpleasant to witness. And that's what makes it so real. A simple apology and a hug don't magically fix everything. In A Silent Voice, the relationship between the characters is a messy attempt to move beyond years of pain and regret, and it's anything but smooth. It's like when a friend forgets to text you back, but with way deeper emotional stakes. There's no quick resolution, just a raw, chaotic process of healing. It's imperfect, yet deeply real. I felt every awkward moment, every stumble, and every flicker of hope that things might actually get better. What's the real message here? This is a story about the human experience, making mistakes, causing hurt, carrying the weight of shame, and trying, despite the odds, to make things right. At its heart, it's about our desire for forgiveness, the struggle to forgive ourselves, and the hope for a fresh start. After all, isn't that what we all seek? A chance to heal and to move forward, and maybe, just maybe, to begin again? Naoko Yamada, the director and one of the most key creative forces behind A Silent Voice, is known for her masterful storytelling and ability to convey deep emotions through subtle visual and auditory cues. A highly acclaimed director from Kyoto Animation, Yamada has a unique talent for capturing the inner lives of her characters in a way that resonates profoundly with her audiences. I mean, her background in art direction and her attention to detail is evident in A Silent Voice, where every scene feels carefully crafted to immerse the viewer in the characters' emotional journeys. Yamada's direction amplifies the themes of guilt, redemption, and forgiveness, utilizing these nuanced character interactions and symbolic imagery to reflect the inner turmoil of both Shoya and Shoko. Her careful use of sound especially, or silence, mirrors Shoko's experience as a deaf individual, adding a deeply personal layer to the film. Under her direction, A Silent Voice transcends typical anime and becomes a deeply impactful exploration of human emotion. One aspect of A Silent Voice that often goes underappreciated is its focus on the ripple effects of bullying and trauma. Not just for the victim and the perpetrator, but for the entire community involved. The film subtly explores how Shoya's actions, along with the passive complicity of his classmates, leads to far-reaching consequences. Characters like Naoka Ueno and Miki Kawai, who stood by or even encouraged the bullying, have to confront their own feelings of guilt and denial as the story unfolds. While Shoya actively seeks redemption, these secondary characters are also struggling with their past choices. Their discomfort is palpable as they navigate whether to own up to their mistakes or continue avoiding responsibility. I found another crucial element is the film's delicate portrayal of mental health, particularly how it intertwines with disability. Shoko's deafness isolates her in ways that go beyond just communication barriers, and the film shows the psychological toll it takes on her. This anime portrays the mental isolation both Shoya and Shoko experience in their respective lives. This focus on mental health, wrapped with themes of isolation, self-worth, and the desire for acceptance, gives the film a profound depth that resonates deeply with viewers who may have experienced their own struggles in finding human connection. At its core, A Silent Voice isn't about heroes or villains, it's about people. Flawed, broken, beautiful people trying to find their way through the mess they've made of their lives. It's a reminder that no matter how much we mess up, there's always a chance to make amends. It's not easy, and it's certainly not pretty, but it's darn worth it. Now, if you're still sitting there wondering whether A Silent Voice is really worth it, let me be clear. It is. But not because it's some feel-good anime that's gonna give you warm fuzzies. No, it's worth it because it's a movie that doesn't hold back. It's brutally honest about how hard it is to ask for forgiveness, to forgive yourself, and to try to move forward when the past feels like it's constantly pulling you back. It's about the way trauma lingers and shapes you, but it's also about how there's a sliver of hope in the darkest moments, even when you're not sure you deserve it.
Oh God, it's sad. It's so sad.
Ultimately, this reminded me of how complicated it is to be human. I mean, we screw up sometimes horribly and epically, but there's always room to try to fix the mess we've made. And that, folks, is what makes this movie so painfully beautiful. So, does it deliver emotional damage? Without a doubt. But in the best way. Because when a film makes you feel things deeply, it's clearly doing something right. And let's be honest, we all need a little emotional warfare now and then, if only to remind us that we're human, that we're capable of messing up, but also of trying to fix things, no matter how hard it is. So, go ahead, grab some tissues, dive in, you won't regret it. Well, I mean, your heart might for a little while, but trust me, it is worth it. Catch you next time.
Oh, wow, okay. All right, let's all go home. Come on. See you all tomorrow.